Hello, tonight our lesson is on legal moves for simplifying on an expression mat. There are three common ways that we can simplify. The first is to remove an equal number of opposite tiles that are in the same region. So I want you to copy down that first sentence right there. Removing an equal number of opposite tiles that are in the same region. So just copy that first sentence. And over here, for example, we have a -1 and a +1 tile in the same region. They're both in the negative side of the expression mat. But it doesn't matter which region they're in. If they're opposite signs and they're equal tiles, you can remove them because together they make 0. The second legal move we can do would be to flip tiles from one region into the opposite region. So here in my picture, there are two 1 tiles in the negative region, so that would equal -2. Those were moved up. You can see little arrows. Those were moved up to the positive region, and in doing so, I had to flip them over to the opposite side. The third legal move that we can do is to remove an equal number of identical tiles from the opposite regions. So here I have 2 tiles in the positive region, and I have 2 tiles in the negative region. Those are identical sized tiles, and they're both showing the same color, the same side. So those are unshaded. So actually that shows there's a -2 in the plus region, and this shows there's a -2 in the negative region. But in our conversations and in our using the tiles, we've seen that those are actually going to make 0 because they're in opposite regions and they have the same color showing. So this is really -2 plus 2. Those would cancel each other out. This is problem 256A on our task tomorrow in class. What we're doing is we're taking these two expression mats, okay, and we're comparing each side to see which is greater. So what I've done is I've simplified these two expression mats to make these two over here. So look what I've done. On the left side, I've taken those 2 tiles and those 2 tiles, and I removed them from the mat because those make 0s. So I can just take them away. And on the right side, I took the ones that are in the negative side of the mat and I moved them up to the positive side. So now I've simplified those and I can compare. Alright, well on the left mat I have 1, 2, 3 -1, so that's a -3. And on the right I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 -1s, that's a -6. Now I can compare to see which is greater. Well, if you recall from our notes on comparing numbers on Monday, on a number line, that -3 is further to the right than -6. And so by virtue of its position on the number line, -3 has a greater value. So there is my comparison. -3 is greater than -6. Alright, here we have 256 problem B. Again, we're starting with the two expression mats on the left. Okay, right here. And I've simplified them by doing some moves to get to the other expression mat. And this time I did something a little different. So what I did was I removed a 1 from the negative region and a 1 from the positive region on the left side. Okay, because that's the same as 1 minus 1. And I put them down here. Of course, 1 minus 1 is just 0, so I can just remove those. And then on the right mat, I did the same kind of thing. I took 2 off the negative region and I took 2 off the positive region, because 2 minus 2 would also be 0. And I placed them down here. All right, so here's where we left off on the previous slide. So now I did some further simplification. Look on the left-hand side. What do you think I did? Think about it. All right, so I took all the negative ones from the plus region and moved them down here. And then I took the negative x in the negative region and moved it up to the top. So that's how I got to this mat right there. That x is now up in the positive region, and it's positive. And down below I have a minus 6. All right. On this right mat, I took this 1, negative 1, and I moved it down here. All right, so that's how I arrived at this mat over on the right-hand side. Okay, so now I'm going to compare. On the left mat, I have an x minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the right mat, I have an x minus 2. All right, so ask yourself, which side is greater? Is x minus 6 greater than or less than x minus 2? Well, if you put this symbol, you are correct. Now think about it. Whatever x is, it's the same amount. And if you take away 6 from it, you're going to have less than if you took away only 2. And you can even put a number in just to test it. If x was 10, then this mat would be 10 minus 6, which would be 4. And if, on this side, 10 minus 2 would be 8. So that obviously is greater. That's all for tonight. Remember, read some books.